See anything? I didn't think so. May I ask you something? Did you happen to hear anything the little girl said earlier?
No.
Well, she was telling Miss Stevenson that she didn't think she could go to sleep because she had already been asleep. I also had been asleep. What about you, dear boy?
What about me, what?
Were you sleeping? You were, weren't you?
Well, yeah.
Yes. We were all asleep. Everybody.
Well, maybe.
Nonsense, maybe. I'm a mystery writer. Deduction is my bread and butter. Don't you think if someone had been awake when all those people were eliminated, that person would have screamed bloody murder and awakened the rest of us?
I guess so.
Of course. So I deduce that everyone was asleep, including all those people that were subtracted, along with the flight crew, of course, dear boy.
Could you call me Albert, please, Mr. Jenkins? That's my name.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, of course. Yes, I'm upset, and when I'm upset, I tend to get a little patronizing. Please forgive me. It's just that I'm trying to figure this thing out.
Well, do you have any ideas?
Well, if it were just the plane, I could easily come up with a scenario.
What scenario?
Well, let's say, for instance, that some shadowy government organization decided to conduct an experiment and we were the test subjects. And the purpose of such an experiment, given the circumstances, would be to document the effect of serious emotional stress on a number of ordinary Americans. And the scientist who designed the experiment loads the oxygen system of this plane with an odorless hypnotic gas. After this is released into the air, everyone falls asleep, with the obvious exception of the pilot, who is breathing uncontaminated air through a mask. Then the captain lands the plane at a secret airstrip in Nevada, let's say, whereupon, with the exception of the 9 randomly chosen test subjects, all the sleeping passengers are carefully carried off the plane and placed aboard another identical plane. The captain then gets Flight 29 airborne again and returns it to its original altitude and heading. He activates the autopilot. He disables the radio systems. And then, as the effect of the gas begins to wear off, the captain hears on his intercom the voice of the little blind girl calling for her aunt. And he knows that this will wake the others. The experiment is about to begin.
Captain Angle is one of them.
Well, in this scenario, he is.
If Captain Angle is one of the people who did this to us, we're going to have to capture him as soon as we land. You, me, Mr. Gaffney, and perhaps that British fellow.
But it doesn't hold up, you know.
What?
This scenario I just gave you, it doesn't hold up.
But you just said.
What I said was, if it were just this plane, I could give you a scenario. But unfortunately, it's not just this plane. The city of Denver is probably still down there, but all its lights were off, if it was. And it's not just Denver, I can tell you that. Omaha, Des Moines, St. Louis, there isn't a trace of any of them down there either. Now, what has happened has not just happened on this plane. And that's where deduction breaks down.